is off. So, Venki, can we roll this on? If,
Yeah, sure.
okay. So guys, thank you everyone for joining today's session, and it's my pleasure to welcome Vengatessh Rajasekar. And recently, I came to know from that he is from my hometown. So, welcome, Venki, and thank you for taking up your time today. So, to give you a brief introduction about Venkatesh, and he's right now been assigned with PandoCorp, and okay, he's been employed with PandoCorp, and he is the youth forum head for the National Council of India. And this particular series of webinar is a follow up on our last webinar, which is on the latest trend in the logistics and supply chain digitalization. So in this webinar, we will, Venkatesh will be taking us through the business transformation and the best practices involved in the business transformation. And we do have the Q&A at the last. So Venkatesh, once again, I thank you and I hand it over to you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Bala, for the intro. So, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. So, on the last session, we had the discussion about the Industry 4.0 and also the Logistics 4.0, along with how IoT is playing a key role and the importance of enterprise data management in the industry. So these were all some key points where we discussed, and we had a brainstorming discussion as well regarding these topics, and also digitization of procurement, and also transportation, and what are the types of technologies used, and also how cloud is playing a predominant role, and the enablement of machine learning and artificial intelligence in the predictive modeling of forecasting various data points in the industry. So we discussed highly about these things on the last session, and in today's session we'll be covering about what are so once a digital transformation is needed for industry, so what are the key factors which is required, and what are the questions the industry should ask themselves when they are they are going to do a digital transformation. And also I will have a case study about how Germany has implemented the digitization of transport in Hamburg. So yeah, age of digitization transforming, and what's right for your business. So like with the new technologies coming into play, like organizations have been forced to adopt to latest technologies at different parts of the sector. Either it can be the operations or the sales, or a marketing, or on the commercial sides of the payment cycle and everything. So wherever the point would be that the key factor is to leverage in terms of digitization, and now currently the industries believe that it is necessary for them to compete or survive in the industry, uh, and hence they are it is a key factor to transform their business to the digital model. So these are the key factors while implementing a digital transformation at any industry verticals of an organization. So the first one would be like create a business-led technology roadmap. Is basically develop and align on the digital vision, and always which contributes to the impact of the end user or the distributor. Develop an upskill talent. So you should make sure there is no gap on the talents and the strategies which has been used. So and in order to adopt the digital transformation, we need to follow some org structures, and integrate various digital tools, and bring in talents related to digitization. And you have to leverage the digital learning technologies and programs, so that the people who are not aware about the digitization, and also people who need to adopt to the digital transformation will have a better idea. And to run the digital transformation, we need to adopt to the agile delivery methodology, which is more of a rapid phase of where multiple things happen on a parallel phase, instead of using the existing models like waterfall or others. And also a need for shift to a modern technology environment. So these modern technology form the background or a backbone of any industry services, and also optimal integration architecture should be followed, to integrate with different systems within an organization. So say for example, like now, like e-way bill and e-invoicing coming into play, there is a necessity for all the private organizations to get integrated with the government portal. So the truck cannot move without e-way bill and the e-invoice, and there is a necessity which is created, and for that we should adopt to optimal or a fast adapting architecture model, like APIs, micro web services, and also other protocols like SFTP and others. Um, Focus on data management and enrichment. So if you like, even though like the various people on the analytics and also on the data science are working on the humongous data to get more insights, it is also necessary that they need to understand the domain in depth before they do the uh, the research or the enter into the analytical part. So we believe that the domain knowledge is also a key factor for any of the data scientist or data analytics person who are working on the predictive modeling, and also drive the adoption and scaling of digital initiatives. So once the digital transformation is implemented, it is not that it will be implemented on a single go, where say suppose you need to digitize for a company of with around 200 warehouses, and having a trucks of nearly 1,000 trucks. So it is not possible to implement the transformation or technology for all 200 warehouses at a single point. So the method which is used is land and expand. So first we have to land for a single warehouse, and implement the digital transformation for the at least a single warehouse or 3 or 4 warehouse as the first phase. And we need to get to know the real time complications where we are facing, and we need to resolve it on the first phase. And then based on, so that we will be adopted to the um, process of the company as well during the transformation of assets to the to be process. And then we will be able to what we should do is, on the next phases we need to scale up on a rapid phase, uh, considering all other factors and transactional data. So what this would help is basically the end users of the users will be benefited more when we follow this kind of process. So these are the key factors which is necessary for a digital transformation. One is the people, process, technology, innovation, and data. So the people is basically, once the digital transformation is done, who are all the people impacted, or who are all the people getting benefited out of it. So these are all something which we have to have in mind, or a strategy or a business plan which you are going, which before you do a digital transformation. And also a process. So we should do a diagnostic run of a manual or as is process, and find the pain points where we are facing, and based on those pain points we need to do the digital transformation, and that is where we will able to realize the value of digital transformation. uh, Blindly we shouldn't do a digital transformation And also we should be cautious about doing the transformation with the actual requirement the from our end. And also technology. So we should look along the technology and also the potential opportunities in terms of technology and how it can be scalable. And we should make sure we have an upgrade for the technology regularly. It is not that once we do a digital transformation and yeah, boom, we don't need to take care about um, the technology perspective. It is same like how you do an update on your Android or an Apple mobile phone. So we should adopt to the technology. For example, when you can talk about Nokia. So once people all moved to Android, and Nokia was on the older version of the OS, and that is where they were hit, and it took a long period of time for them to recover, and they were forced to enter into the latest technology in order to survive in the industry. And then they came up with the Windows OS, and now they are finally ended up in the Android OS. So that is where you can just differentiate between Samsung and Nokia, how they made a difference in the industry. And that is the reason where lots of journals came in, where we need to adapt to the the situation or the current trends in order to uh, you know uh, go high on the market at a market standpoint. And also innovation. So we should so innovation is also one of the key factors where we should have some funnels on the pipeline for the transformation. And we should do a bottom up approach for prior we do the technology implementation. There are key negative phases where we do a top down approach and implement the digitization, and then we don't realize a value, and it is a waste of money on the final end. So we should always do a bottom up approach, starting from the base point. And also data. So currently we are able to play with the data. Like after this descriptive modeling, we are as also the predictive modeling is scaling up, and day by day we are able to bring in more efficiencies. Like right now we are able to get an efficiency of around 85% with the predictive modeling. Either it can be related to forecast, or predicting the future pipeline of market of the business, or say suppose the weather forecast, or latest processes. So for this, as we know, like predictive modeling is still is not completely developed, and we are in a pipelining of developing it. Say for example, say let us consider a transport industry, where a truck needs to get dispatched from one primary location to a retailer, and the expectation of the client is that they need to know at what time the truck reaches at the destination during the start of the journey itself. That is where Google Maps is already giving us. And currently at B2C, at a end user point, but on the B2B scenario also, this is a key factor for them. Because see, once they are able to predict the time which is going to reach the drop location, accordingly they can plan the loading and unloading plan. And also they can make sure the end the destination, or the security is available for the inspection. And they can do lots of prayer activities. And for this, currently we are able to realize an optimal data point of around 85% efficiency, but the expectation of client is 100%. So say for example, the journey begins at 10 a.m. and the predictive analysis is that it will reach at 6 p.m. And at 10 a.m. if you see the efficiency, it will be around just 40 to 50%. You will not have a higher efficiency. But as the truck moves nearer, the efficiency goes higher, and you will be at finally you will be able to say that at 5, like say suppose the truck is 40 or 50 kilometers away from the destination, and that is the time where we are able to realize a 90% efficiency timing. But the expectation of client is that during at 10 a.m. itself, they are expecting this accurate data. So that is all in progress, where machine learning and artificial intelligence are playing a key role, along with the this GPS tracking and the ETA methods. So the different or what I can say, digital transformation strategies, as you can see here, you have to gear up for the culture change, one strategic step at a time, charting the technology requirements, collaborating with the different partners, redefine based on the feedback. So it is basically like once you do a digital transformation and you find some loopholes where this can be done at a different way or anything, and that is where our land and expand model comes into play, where once we are able to do it for a particular location, and we can make the tweak strategy as per our experience, and then expand it to the other location. So, and also make the transition and transform which is necessary, which is at a human centric standpoint. So these are all the key points which we need to note down. And also from my experience being a digital transformation uh, consultant, like so what are all the a roadmap or a funnel which we need to follow. So start small and then accelerate. So as I told you, like land and expand is what that is clearly talking about. So get to the roots. So basically, uh, when you do a digital transformation, it is not that you are completely updated on the technology alone, but also on the business use case. So we need a root level knowledge of understanding the business use cases, and based on that, we need to do a transformation. And also the roles, it is mandatory that we need to understand peoples and roles during the existing process, so that we will be able to map them to the current to be flow when the digital transformation is implemented, which is a critical point which we need to make a note of. And do not hesitate to roll back. This is a rare case, and that is where I told like we need to do some diagnostics before we do a digital transformation. So I can say like if you are not having a diagnostic or a need for a digital transformation, and you implement the technologies which has been widely used, and there are points where you won't realize value at a point, and it is just that you need to be paying your AMCs or the annual maintenance charges for at a yearly basis. So you should not hesitate to roll back if you don't realize value on the digital transformation. So these are the available services in the industry. So which is basically cloud migration is basically moving from the on-premise to the on cloud movement, and also the deployment management where the Scrum role comes into play. It is basically about how what kind of agile methodology can be used, what are the stories required to develop a process, and also M&A integration. So if we need to follow a process, and that's a need to integrate with different systems, what are the acquisitions we need to make with the other vendors, and bring in digital informations, and we need to enable trainings and educate the end users on the digitization part, and also adapt to the change management. So this is where change management we were talking on the previous session related to the enterprise data management and the ERP part, and how SaaS or a PaaS, which is software as a service or a product as a service, is coming into play. And These are the key levers for a business transformation service. I think I have covered the business digital transformation part. Um, Next, we will have a case study of how the digital transformation was implemented in Germany. Before that, I am happy to answer your questions if you have any.
Hi, Rajsekar, this is Satya.
Yeah, hi Satya.
Yeah. See, digital transformation, everything is okay, but what do you say for any manufacturing units where somebody is doing machining, somebody is doing sheet metal or different kind of the commodities? How those companies are getting transformation in terms of digital? Because that's all manpower work, right? It's more of labor integrated work. So how do you see in coming future those things will be more of digitalized rather than, or
So
how do you
yeah,
see the
correct.
growth? How do you see the growth of a manufacturing in the
So at a
coming?
manufacturing standpoint, so this was covered in the previous session. I will take you through it. So it is basically about the digitization in the manufacturing industry is not, or I would say it is not at a higher potential of scaling up with the current situation, because the implementation is pretty
Uh-huh.
high, and also edge computing, and also this other technologies related to IoT plays a key role on the manufacturing part. Of course, ERP systems like SAP Leonardo are bringing in IoT enabled technologies which are getting integrated with the ERP system. Those are in pipeline, but if you can see at a SME standpoint, the implementation is pretty low. But when it comes to huge, players like a BMW or a Rolls Royce or other manufacturing companies, they have been adopted to the latest technologies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So going forward, what do you see the manufacturing growth? No, how it is
Uh,
going to be post lockdown or post this one? Like,
it is not about here. So one more thing is like the post lockdown change where we can expect is a complete virtual way of working, which is not feasible on the manufacturing part, and that is where a lot of uh, uh, job opportunities and a lack of job opportunities came into play. And at considering the Indian market, the digitization of manufacturing industry uh, would not at would not be at a high level comparing to other countries. And also considering other factors like the amount of people in country, and also the job losses related to manufacturing industries, bringing in a digitization at a 10% will not be a scalable approach considering the Indian market. But of course, China and Japan are adapting to the use cases, but the digitization of manufacturing industries considering to the other industries will be a lower case. I won't be able to give an exact number, but this is what I think.
okay.
Venkatesh, this is Kiran here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kiran, Venkatesh, I just wanted to know that I just heard the cloud integration, deployment, management, merger and acquisitions. But my question is in line to the manufacturing industry. In manufacturing industry, majorly we are working on SAP and Oracle based systems. How that SAP and Oracle based systems are directly linked with our supply chain integration, and how that will link with the digitalization.
Yeah, so good question. So here I will explain about. So as SAP, Oracle, these are all the ERP systems which has been used for nearly around 15 or 20 plus years, and now digital transformation is basically enabling the predictive modeling, where Oracle and SAP is already able to provide those solutions. And considering the cost factors as they have already been established in the market, industries are adapting to the SaaS model, which is software as a service. So where our company is currently working on. Say suppose we have like companies at a different verticals from FMCG to manufacturing like Siemens, and then ITC on other end, Britannia, Nestle, where they already have their ERP systems, and the need for the digital transformation is the cost savings. So so we are doing the end-to-end supply chain automation starting from transportation management system. So once the truck get dispatched until it has reached the destination, so what these SaaS products are do is they optimize at the various points, like data points, like one is the weight optimization, another one is the route optimization, and also the lane optimization. And based on this, the company is able to get a savings of around 10 to 12% based on the diagnostic run from the total freight cost spent. And this is one of the advantages of the digital transformation, and also how SaaS is going to overcome the ERP systems like SAP and Oracle.
Okay, thank you, Venkatesh.
Hi, I have a question. Can you please, in short, tell me how this IoT thing can be linked and fit into the procurement of the company? What are the different areas within the supply chain, especially in the procurement, where you think this IoT or digitalization can best fit in?
At the procurement standpoint, have I am not completely sure about how IoT comes into play. Rather, procurement is all about how you negotiate and bring in the suppliers, where we have other digitization tools, which is almost like where Ariba is playing a network model of where it has the list of suppliers, and you'll be able to negotiate and onboard necessary supplier or a vendor which is required for you. At this standpoint, internet of things for procurement, I don't think it can be completely related, uh, as far as my knowledge.
Yeah. So, Venkatesh, Bala here, and just wanted to add few points to your response on it. So, Fausia, to answer your question, how IoT will play an important role in procurement, because I'm directly from procurement, IT, and stuff. So, a quick understanding of IoT help procurement is the data that we are collecting from the missions. Say, for example, if we install a mission, if I install an IoT device in a mission, that gives you a data, as in when you have to do a predictive maintenance, when you have to do a breakdown maintenance, what are the spares that are about to expire. That gives handful of information for a procurement professional to plan ahead their contract and their negotiation with their supplier. So this is just a basic application. Maybe I would like to talk more about this. You can reach out to us on this. Just
Yeah, sure.
2 cents on that. Thanks, Venkat,
Yeah, sure.
for giving this input.
Bala,
Yeah,
thank you so much. And I think this was very, very relevant answer. And I got what I wanted to ask.
yeah, exactly.
I would like to be in contact with you. Can you please leave your contact number or email so I could contact you more in detail about this topic?
Definitely, Fausia. We'll share that.
Yes. So you can write it in the chat box so I can note it from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Venkat.
Yeah, thanks, Bala, for taking this up. So can we proceed further?
Yeah. Yes,
Yes,
Venkatesh.
Venkat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. So this is basically a case study of digitization of transport in Germany. So Germany, so there was an innovation hub for the mobility services, which was enabled by their government, and I came to know about this case study, and I thought I'll share it with the people here. So this is basically a data of their modal share in Hamburg, where different models being used, being bicycle, pedestrians, and buses and trains, and etc. So these data, if I talk at a high level, we are able to provide this because of the you know play basically because of the analytics part where we are currently working related to MI and artificial intelligence, where based on that we are able to know the potential key players at what levers the people are being exposed at uh, various different sectors as mentioned here. So this will be a plan where uh, plan for the initial transformation for the digitization, and these are the different objectives of this transformation. And also this is the a roadmap or a pipeline for digitizing the mobility and logistics services. So and at this case in 2015 Hamburg developed an ITS strategy, basically an intelligent transport system strategy, and on 2016 they got the approval from the Hamburg Senate, and in 2017 the project management offices were officially launched, and and they had the uh, they need to submit their bids to the World Congress. And then on 18 it was being implemented, and then from there they started scaling up to different locations. This is the pipeline here till 2030. So if you can see here, so who are the main people working towards this goal? One is basically the startups and the industrial partners related to the digital hub, and then the ITS Hamburg World Congress, the project management office, and the um, steering committee people related to the municipal authorities for the digitization. So this is basically the ITS World Congress in Hamburg, where uh, it is been related to the Federal Ministry of Transport and Digital Infrastructure, where they are able to do autonomous, or mobility as a service in the port and logistics for the delivery of goods, and also uh, sustainable transportation, and also green transport also coming into play. So you can see here the different technologies which has been used currently. So you can see here the heat, which is Hamburg's electric autonomous transportation. So it is where a driverless kind of a vehicle, where they have a circle route of which travels at 50 kilometer per speed, and it is basically a combination of different data points which is being connected by the intelligent infrastructure setup, which was being handled by the Siemens Mobility, and then German Aerospace Center, and other key players related to the uh, digitization part. So also they had their test track of which was established around 9 kilometers. So the test track had a real-time use case of where 37 traffic lights, and one bridge, and which in order to have a real-time exposure during their pilot run.
Venkatesh.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is Kiran here.
yeah,
Just one query here in fast. this in digital transportation and the green channel, what you mentioned here, is there any particular role in IoT in this lane transformation or
Correct,
optimization in
correct.
network? Yeah.
So yeah, correct. It is completely all sensor-based data when it's come to manufacturing and the data points. So how will you get the data points? Basically with the IoT sensors. Let me give you an example about. Let us consider a transport vendor. We are going to onboard for our company, and we need to measure the performance of the transporter. So on the conventional method, how do we measure the transporter performance? Is basically measure the reach and release time and their SLAs. But now when IoT coming into play, we are able to measure their performance by setting up IoT sensors in the machine, and calculating the amount of smoke which is being exhibited by the vehicle, and based on that we are able to measure the carbon footprint, which is morely related to the green transportation. So this is where IoT is playing a key role. And of course, when it comes to the manufacturing part and the predictive modeling, IoT is the bridge which helps us in fetching the necessary data.
Okay. Thank you, Venkatesh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can continue, Venkatesh. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, and the other technologies was basically the different names like switch and tabula, where switch is basically using a different mode or legs of transport for moving from commuting from one place to another place. This basically reduces like this creates efficiency, and also a shared space network with integration coming into play with the different systems. And also digital regional train operations, where highly automated train services were set up between different locations, and automatic train operations using a radio based European train control system was also implemented. And these were the key advantages was that they had a higher train frequencies over here, and also setting up autonomous buses in different locations. And for this also they had a pilot phase of pilot area for doing their trial runs with around 2.5 kilometers, where they did all their implementation part, and this was completely funded by the Ministry of Transport and Digital Infrastructure. And these are all, I think you are aware, because when Ola and Uber came into play, where we were able to get the on-demand shuttles. So once you log in into the app, and once you think that you need to board a cab for your service, and then you change your mind and you come out of it, and the next time when you log into your app, the cost of the same trip will be higher. The reason because of the data playing, and that is where the business stakeholders taken advantage of the predictive modeling, and creating a demand inside the artificial intelligent modeling itself. And also a check-in and check-out as you walk in inside any store, where Amazon has its one of it in the US already. And also the digital parking, where real time or GPS integration comes into play. So it is basically produce suggests you and optimizes the traffic control based on the data which you have on the system. And this is also something where necessary initiatives like smart locker on the commercial locations, which can be used during commuting. um, and also it was one of the safer ways, safer methods which was established at a city network, as a automated transfer points, and also the weight in motion. So you have sensors where you can see on below image, the sensors are attached on the road, and a bridge is going to come at a uh, gonna approach us, and then we will have a sensors where if a heavier vehicle is going to cross the bridge, you will have a notification once the vehicle, the truck crosses a particular location, and they'll be able to stop the truck, or they'll be able to reroute it to a different location. And this is where IoT is going to play a key role for us here on the traffic management and also the weight in motion technologies. And the next is the geo netback, where say suppose if some construction work or any road works are going on the in real time, and based on the data which you have, you'll be able to know in prior. Of course, these things are like already visible for us at real time, where if in Google Maps you will be able to know the traffic at a particular location. This is something upgrade of itself, where you will be able to know a particular reason for the traffic and other things. And of course, I would say this has not been completely 100%. It is all a predictive forecast which has been updated. So this is, let me give you an example. Once you onboard a bus, and you will get and you're on your Google Maps, and you will have a message that what is the amount of people in the traffic on the bus, is it high, low, or a number they'll give it to you, and you put up some answers, and same way they will get the data or the answers from different stakeholders, and combine it together and do a predictive modeling, and provide a solution to the necessary people. And the same way they are able to do this kind of analysis as well. So, and also in order to widen the scope, they conducted hackathons on the different topics, and at a technology standpoint, and other various initiatives, like to bring in the data platform, or enabling the cargo services related to port logistics, integrating the slot, the booking systems in the what you call it as on the maritime or in the port management side. So these were the different initiatives which were done related to transportation. So yeah, and I'm happy to take questions.
Is India is also planning any sort of one logistic policy where such sort of digitization is possible?
Uh, at a high level, of course, lots of digitization has been handled at state wise, like when you can see on the commuting of public transport services, instead of the tickets, they have automated to the RFID tags. And but initiative related to the complete IoT enabled technologies, uh, they are still under discussion, where currently myself working with the National Council of India team. So we are trying to build or bring in some initiatives for uh, the benefit of the people at the both consumer standpoint, and also at a B2B standpoint, how an optimization can be done. So there are plans like bringing in digital uh, initiatives, where which is necessary for any organization to carry forward. So this will let us take an example of, say, if you need to move a truck from one place to another location, and if the company is having their own truck, and the truck is just 25% utilized and driving from one location to another location, on the going forward plan, it will not be allowed, because they should make sure that once travel is made from one location to another location, 100% utilization or at least a 90% utilization should be used. And this can be only used once you are able to, have uh, communication or bond with their own industry partners, or their competitors. Say suppose an FMCG industry of one company is moving good from one location to another location. Once this AI and ML and digitization comes into place, and they are going to ship a material from Bangalore to Mumbai, and the truck utilization is just 25%, and the remaining 75% should be utilized by another company, where they'll be partnering themselves with all the data security terms and conditions. And thus utilization of truck is 100%, where this can be taken up at a different standpoints, where uh, the amount of usage of vehicles can be controlled, and this enables green initiatives related to transportation.
Hi Venkatesh, this is Kiran.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, the green initiatives in the digitization transportation. In this, you also mentioned the driverless car or driverless vehicle. What do you think that driverless vehicle can be utilized in our India transportation future business?
And my question is, it cannot used at an public level, but it can be used at an internal movement inside a warehouse or any industry. Let us take an example of forklift machine, which has been used to, take like take a particular material from a warehouse. And currently, people working on the forklift side, there are a lot of risk happening currently, where a material falls on them and they get injured. So now this virtual reality and the augmented things coming into play, what you can do is you will be able to drive the vehicle virtually, sitting on in front of your laptop, and you have a digital view of everything in front of your single screen, and you have the complete barrows on in front of your screen. As this is simply how you drive a car in your video game or your PlayStation or anything. So initiatives related to this and plans related to this are in scope. We of course have a technology, and there was one of article released from McKinsey, where I read it, that these kind of initiatives are enabled. But the thing is, this is how our uh, the industry adapts to it, and takes necessary initiatives for this. If they consider the welfare of the people, yeah, then yes, they should adopt to these kind of changes.
Venkat, this is Bala. I just have one question. I'm curious about it. See, we talk a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning, your IoT devices, and many future-oriented technologies like blockchain, and all these things are coming up. Do you think that it will drastically reduce the requirement of manpower? I know it's a long run, it's just augmenting the human capabilities, but how we are going to face the reduction of manpower? So do you have any thoughts on
Yeah,
this?
yeah. So currently, there is always a debate when, for every time a transformation happens, either from the industry 2.0 to 3.0 or 3.0 to 4.0, where steam engines were replaced by the next generation, and the prior to that, the Bullock were replaced by the steam engine, and then the computers were replaced with highly efficient supercomputers, where this AI and ML is coming to play. So at all these cases, there was always a debate that the opportunities for manpower will be reduced when this robotics comes into play. But still, with the past experience, we can see that it has not reduced the job opportunities completely, but rather, if you can think at a different standpoint of the efficiency and the safetiness of the people, it is getting benefited. But to answer your question, it is always a debate when we take it at a different perception.
Yes, Venkat, thank you. I think there is no such definite answer for this question, but
Correct.
thank you for taking this. And yeah, we'll see how we are seeing the technology implementing
Yeah,
the
sure.
humans. Thank you, Venkat.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Just I want to add further. Nice presentation, Venkat. Okay, you've given a lot of examples across the Germany and all. I'm from a construction. This is Ajay Babu. I'm from L&T Construction. You may be aware, like IoT practically implemented across the construction is one of the major companies, L&T. You see, we deploy a lot of equipment across the various major mega projects. These are all machines are put with installed with IoT equipments, and we are able to sensitize and feel off how the efficiency, productivity of the each equipment at remote locations, which was not possible in the past. This helped a lot of data collection. It helps to improve the productivity, monitoring the machine productivity, as well as the plan for the next activity, even including the preventive maintenance, how many number of hours it logged, switch on time, switch off time, idling time, number of hours it worked, and what is the fuel consumption. Earlier, there may be a lot of pilferage used to happen. I think we are one of the company benefited out of this thing, and across the multiple projects, mega projects, we installed. Today, we have installed with thousands of equipment on this IoT. It is helping a lot.
Yeah.
Similarly, the same thing we have applied into production units also, where machine hours is logged, and we're able to monitor the machine productivity across.
The job work is also handled, I believe, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah.
This is adding a lot of value, able to feel off. Earlier, it was impossible to understand remote locations, how these heavy equipments are working. Even it is say it is a dozer, loader, or tower cranes. Across the multi-mega projects, you don't know how to monitor what is the fuel consumption. A lot of pilferage used to happen. And even our all batching plants, even you can say these way bridges across.
Correct.
Happening many road projects and all, crushers, whatever volumes of material being handled, all you have on the fingertips what happened end of the day. And they can manage the production plan of progress for the next month, what it can be possible with the present equipment, and how these equipments are performing, and which one is idling, fix up those equipments and move it to the where needed places. Earlier, these equipments were some places may be idling, not coming to the light. So those they are able to identify now this machine is not working. So how do you move to the next step where it is required? So that type of value addition has happened in the last 4-5 years. Very big initiative taken inside the company, and that giving a lot of results today. Similarly, the supply chain side also, how IoT or the artificial intelligence, mainly supply side I see as artificial intelligence. We deployed this technology mainly for the payment purpose, invoicing, automated.
Basically, reducing the payment cycle. Like previously, it was with 50 to 60 days, and now they are able to reduce the lead times, I believe. with
Yeah, they're automated bill processing. Okay, one example I can tell you is the robotic our guys are talking about. Thing is like earlier I used to intervene. No, you pay to this vendor, you pay to this vendor and all. Now when we have a project business, we have linked up. There are certain projects which are doing well. Some projects getting delayed, and some inflow cash may not be there, and some cases where you have a good cash flow, and those vendors are to be how your project inflow is cash is happening and which are to be allocated. Earlier used to be a manual intervention. Now it is automatically which is the overdue payment, which are to be preferred, like MSMEs as per today norms supposed to be not more than 45 days. You prioritize those bills. So these are all happens automatically, no manual intervention. There's artificial intelligence to robotic machine systems, so they're able to process huge volumes of invoices on their clients. I think definitely technology is helping, but again, the point the gentleman was asking, Bala, how whether is it impacting the people job opportunities? Yeah, that is a human. We have to strive for technology implementation and find other ways of doing it for better use of technology and create some more opportunities. Yeah, nice
Thanks,
presentation. Yeah, good to have it.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ajay. Thanks for sharing your real-time experience. So next, I would like to just discuss about the emerging trends in the digitization in public transport with respect to India. So this is already, so these are all like you will be already aware about the technologies, but I will just explain at a high level how a process are happening at the back end. So DMITS is basically a 50-50 joint venture between the government of capital territory of Delhi and IDFC. Their vision is to basically create an environment where public transport in preference to personal motorized transport. So you can see here the end-to-end solution for the road-based or the land-based transportation, with what are the key levers which is required. One is the engineering, then the transport planning, the advisory services at the different structures. So what are all the policies required to do an implementation or a transformation, a feasibility analysis before do you and implementation, project structuring and bidding documentation, and necessary transport technologies for the fleet. Either it can be a fleet management or a GPS integration in the vehicle, and what are the necessary operations out of these digitization. So you can see as this picture, you would have already experienced these factors, where if you when you are traveling in a bus, like you have a digitized tickets now, but the tapping technologies are still a pipeline for India, where one you will have your own card where you can tap inside the vehicle, bus or the public transport once you enter, and once you need to get out at any stop, when and you retap again, whatever money which was taken will be returned back based on the distance you have traveled. So these are all which are the technologies which are used in other countries, where I have experienced this one when I was like in abroad in Ireland. And this is the back end process where the once you do a payment on the driver console, you can see here based on the Wi-Fi, it goes to the bus depot, and the communication network routes to the communication router, and there are different working stations where you call it as dockers. Basically, the communication router is basically dockers. What dockers does is it segregates, so it is not that only one guy is going to tap. There are cases where we are going to we are not taking consideration of only one bus. There can be thousands of buses, and thousands of tap can happen at a millisecond, and the system has to route to different systems to process itself. So this is what we called as a load balancer at an technical or an architecture standpoint, where if a data is going to come with millions of data, the load balancer has to segregate the data and send it to different systems to process it. And that is how it goes to the bank server, fetches the amount, and then again get back to the operator's computer. Like you can see here at different standpoints. One is the bus, another one is the parking. When you enter into the malls, you tap in your card in the mall, right? So, and also ticket issuing, and also during the retail process. So this is the back end high level thing which happens during the digitization part. So these are all the general pictures of tap in and tap out, and others basically as we saw in the previous screen. And this is basically, as you are all aware about this BIM app, it is more of related to a phone pay or anything. So these are all necessary details which is available at a UI front. It is also we need to make sure that it is user friendly, and it should be able to be used by even a layman with a lesser knowledge related to digitization. And this is just a number of across the globe where different payment cards being used at different locations in the country. And also the from the overall observation from the global case studies, the reason for open loop digitization is basically the below ones. It is basically a cost and time to market perspective, and the integration or communication with the different third party systems is a feasible way where you can interact with the different banking systems when we follow a open loop system. And this currently leverages the NPCI framework for interbank settlements. So that is where I was talking about the open loop and its advantages. And at a high level, multi-mode or multi-channel adoption, these are the different digitization which have been used. One is the toll, where this FASTag came into play. Another one is a taxi, and the tap and go model for the trains or a tram or buses or autos. And this is just a data of the biggest benefit of digital that we are not aware. So you can see on the phone users in India tend to buy 4G feature phone in next 6 months. So this is older data where now people are talking about 5G and its advantages and the efficiency of the data speed on it. And this is just to show you at a high level of the different banks and their cities which are adapted to different what you call it as closed loop systems plus NFC enabled debit cards, where NFC enabled debit cards are basically a tap in system where now with the smartwatch coming into play, you can directly put in your details, card details on the smart watch, and you can just tap your smartwatch wherever required. So these are all the part of the open loop system. So where it all relates is basically operator, commuter, and the payment ecosystem. Once all these three come into play, this is the amount of revenue which you are able to get in here. And the key challenges here, so the data heavy peak loads, and the transaction amount would be higher, because the transaction amount here I'm speaking is If you need to integrate or get fetch a data from a different system, the amount of cost is higher. Let me take an example of in Google Maps. So there is something called API. So once you're going to travel from one location to another location, so every second or every minute, the API keeps hitting the Google Map server and gets us the necessary data. So they charge a higher amount, and that is one of the critical factors. So that is where now with the GPS enabled systems coming or trucks coming into play, uh, you will be able to, they will have a job schedule of 15 minutes once. So every 15 minutes the system or the API hits the other system, or the API hits the Google Maps and fetches the data and provides us. So the Google company charges of around 7 rupees or 15 rupees per API transaction. So these are all some disadvantages which we are facing at cost standpoint. And the key benefits are basically you have a security and the fetching the data, uh, and also the fake currencies can be reduced as everything is digital, and quicker settlement. Yeah, the lead times can be reduced, and the monitoring part is completely handled with the ease, and there is no currency or denomination challenges when it comes to submitting, or during uh, there are better transparency at an auditing standpoint, and the revenue management is also better uh, benefited based on this digitization. And let me take you to the next slide. So this is basically uh, a digitization process of how the fast tag happens, where I already took a use case of the payment of how a payment is made digitally in the bus, and it goes to the bank servers and we are able to receive it back. And these are all the flow clients where people are currently using. And so this is again a high level architecture where, sorry, people can mute themselves. Tushar, can you mute yourself?
Okay.
So yeah, this is again a high level architecture which I was previously taking you through how the backend process happens, and the different modes enabled for integrating from ferries to the parkings, and then bus, metro, everything coming into play as a multimodal transportation system. And these are all general points which I have covered. And this is basically a more better way to understand. So once you tap for a payment, so secure server and authorization on online happens, where it is the data goes to the customer banks, and reconciliation happens at the mid end, and another communication where using the GPRS the data goes and hits the DP. DP is basically the database, and on the database you will have the necessary data which needs to be fetched at a customer standpoint and also at the bank standpoint, and then a final payment is done. So this is can be handled at a both Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and also wired channel. And the BIM, this is a high-level real-time UI, you know, uh, UI screen for the high-level architecture of the process which I have explained. So yeah, I'm done with my presentation. I'm happy to take questions.
Venkatesh, thank you so much for the presentation. I think it is so much of information to us, and
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward for the questions from the forum. So Venkatesh, between any questions come, I just have to just wanted to share this with you. Recently, I just came across an article where Rolls-Royce has implemented an IoT chip in the aircraft, and they've started getting the maintenance, the level of how the airplane looks before it gets landed in the airport. Okay, that have saved around billions of dollars where they wanted to you know, pre-plan or post-plan. So that was that kind of benefit the IoT is giving to the organizations or to the industry that exactly you were talking about. But yes, there are huge amount of challenges in terms of measuring the viability of the data and how well the technology adoption is happening in the organization. So these are some two things which are currently being discussed at a higher level, maybe from a from a holistic view of any organization. But just in a nutshell, this is definitely a biggest technology that is changing the logistics industry, especially. And
Correct.
want to stay with Ajay Babu sir's thought as well, especially on LLP and stuff. Thank you
Exactly.
for enlightening the entire forum on this, Venkat.
Yeah. Thanks, Baba, and thanks everyone for having attended this session. And I'm also looking forward to have a longer relationship with the sourcing and supply chain team for the next future plans of webinars as well. Looking forward to it.
Same here, Venkat, and thank you so much for taking up your time. And we are more thrilled to have more webinars from your side. And we would directly let people to reach you, or they can contact us for any type of IoT or business transformation help. And this is something we are sharing for our community. Thank
Yeah,
you,
sure.
Venkat, and thank you entire team for your patience and time. So have a rest of your day, great one, and happy weekend.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.